Aí, Valdez, aqui na Union Square, ó. Se você mostrar a carteirinha de vacinação, você ganha um baseado aí, ó. Aí, ó. A fila, parceiro. Tá quase completando 360 graus na Union Square. Tá, ó, tá indo nessa direção, ó. Tá indo lá 18 e volta, parceiro. Aí, ó. Só basta mostrar a carteirinha de vacinação.
All right, so obviously he starts out by, getting into the credentials of Geert Vanden Bossche here, and I think there's a couple things that I found striking right away. What he says is really his specialty is on the design of vaccines. He understands the design of all the vaccines being made in the world. He's worked for Gavi, and in that case, he oversaw the Ebola vaccine program, and his area of specialty is understanding the effect of using vaccines and choosing the specific vaccines and its impact in mass vaccination programs, okay? Have we established that if some guy is going to have an issue with a mass vaccination campaign, this is the guy we all thought was supposed to be in charge, right? But for some reason, he's not. Let's hear what he goes on to say.
If we have 2020 vision at the moment when we look back at the pandemic, and where we started from. And I've always said that at the time when the pandemic started, when it got from China into Italy, into Europe, into the UK, I thought that the only way that we could manage this is to lock down and to prevent the spread of this very dangerous virus. We do have to stand back and see whether or not those decisions were correct. But as we said, hindsight is 2020. What would you say now as we look back at the decisions we made then? Were we about on the right track? Did we make any mistakes?
Well, frankly speaking, from the very beginning, and I mean there is many people who can witness this or testify this, I always said that it was a bad idea to do lockdowns that would also affect the younger people, that we would prevent younger people from having contact, from being exposed. Because remember, the big difference back then was of course that we had a viral strain, COVID strain, that was circulating, dominant strain, and that was not highly infectious as those that we are seeing right now. Of course, when a new virus gets into a population, it immediately gets to the folks that have, weak immunity. And we know these people. This is to a large majority, of course, elderly people that have underlying diseases or otherwise immune suppressed, etc. And of course, I mean, it was certainly the right thing to do to protect these people and for them also to isolate. But we have to distinguish, frankly speaking, and that is what we have not been doing, between those people that have strong innate immunity. I mean, it's not, you cannot see, when you see a person you don't know this, but we know that young people have quite decent innate immune response, and therefore they are naturally protected, and even more. I mean, if they get in contact with coronavirus, it will boost their natural immunity. So therefore, from the very beginning, I disapproved, the fact that schools got closed and universities, and that youngsters were preventing even from having contact with each other. That situation is of course completely different if you look at vulnerable people. The virus comes in the population, there is no humoral immunity, there is no immunity at all in fact, so nobody has been in contact. So the youngsters, they can rely on good innate immunity. Elderly people, I mean, the innate immunity is waning. It gets increasingly replaced by antigen specific, by specific immunity as people get older. So these people very, very clearly needed to be protected, but it has taken a lot of time before we understood, in fact, how exactly the immune response and the virus were interacting. So there has been a lot of confusion, a lot of mistakes made, mistakes, I mean, retrospectively, and that has also led to, bad control right from the beginning, I would say.
All right, so I think there's some important points to be made here. And by the way, if you're watching the High Wire for the first time, as it turns out, we actually geek out on the science. If you're a person that's saying, I wonder what's going on here, but what you want is a bumper sticker slogan about to make you feel better, then go watch some other network. What we're going to get into and where he's about to go is so deep and profound and powerful that you're going to have to actually care about science. What we're going to get into is the science here with Geert, but let's be specific at what he's pointing out. When there is any time there's a pandemic, when there's a virus that starts spreading, the first people that really we see it affect are those that don't have waning immune systems, the elderly, those that are sick. It's exactly what we saw over the age of 65 with other comorbidities. And we talked about the Great Barrington Declaration. There's now over 50,000 scientists and experts and doctors that have all said exactly what Geert is saying here. He is saying that those are the new numbers. There we go. So we're over 50,000, over 750,000 concerned citizens. If you haven't signed the Great Barrington Declaration, you better check it out online and get your signature in there because these things matter. But what he's telling us is that we should have protected that, extremely vulnerable population, something the High Wire has supported from day one. It's what we've been saying. But what also the High Wire has been saying is those that are young, that are healthy, they need to get out and they need to go catch this illness. And as he pointed out, they're only going to just enhance their immune system. This could be made even stronger. He gets into a detail I hadn't really thought about and didn't really fully understand, that once you get older, once you become, when you're in the later years of your life, you no longer have humoral immunity, or otherwise known as your innate immune system, which is sort of this initial sort of general immune system that just attacks and kicks butt. You're stuck with antigen immunity, meaning the things that you've caught through your life, the memory, it's going to be looking for those things, but it doesn't have the ability to take on a brand new virus or some variant we haven't seen. But our children, they've got that in spades, and college students and healthy people, it's just rocking. We've just got, Mike Tyson's in there ready to go and take out any brand new virus. So we should have been out in the population dealing with it, while the elderly that don't have that innate immune system that we do, they should have been secured. Exactly what the Great Barrington Declaration has been discussing, and obviously scientists and virologists agree around the world.